Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something truly transformative, Don Miguel Ruiz's The Four Agreements. It's a guide to personal freedom based on ancient Toltec wisdom, and I promise, it has the power to completely shift how you see yourself and the world around you. So, let's jump right in.
Right out of the gate, the book hits us with this pretty wild idea. Everything you're experiencing right now, it's all a dream. And no, not just the kind you have when you're asleep. He's talking about your waking reality. According to Ruiz, this is the most important thing to grasp because, once you realize you're dreaming, you suddenly have the power to change the dream. Okay, so before we can get to the good stuff, the four agreements themselves, we have to really understand the problem they're designed to fix. And it all starts with this concept Ruiz calls the dream of the planet.
Think about it. None of us got to start from scratch. The moment we're born, we're basically dropped into a collective dream that's already been going on for thousands of years. The language you speak, the religion you were taught, your family's ideas about right and wrong, you didn't choose any of that. You just inherited it.
Now, Ruiz uses a really powerful word for how we learn all these rules: domestication. He says that just like we train a dog, society trains us. We get a reward, attention, a smile when we follow the rules, and we get punished with rejection or disapproval when we don't. Over time, this conditions us to live in this constant state of fear, always trying to be good enough for everyone else instead of just being who we are.
So what happens? This whole process of domestication ends up creating a full-blown war inside our own heads. We take all those outside rules and turn them into our own personal book of law. And from that, two characters are born. First, you've got the inner judge, that nagging voice that criticizes every single thing you do. And then there's the inner victim, the part of you that believes the judge and just wallows in guilt, shame, and that feeling of, I'm not good enough. It's just this vicious, relentless cycle of self-abuse. The end result of this inner battle is a state that Toltecs called the mitote, and that word is just perfect. Imagine a crowded market where 1,000 different people are all trying to talk to you at once, all saying different things. That's the mitote. It's this constant mental chaos, this fog that makes it impossible to see things clearly, especially ourselves. So here's the bottom line. Most of us are living in what Ruiz calls a dream of hell. It's a reality built on a foundation of agreements and beliefs that we never actually chose for ourselves. We're suffering not because of what's actually happening, but because we believe all these lies that tell us we're fundamentally flawed and never going to be perfect.
But here's where it all changes. Here is the incredible, hopeful truth of this whole thing. If old agreements based on fear put us in this mental prison, then we can make new agreements, ones based on love, that can set us free. And this, right here, is the heart of the book, the Four Agreements.
All right, here they are. These are the four new agreements that Ruiz says can absolutely transform your life. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. And always do your best. Now, they might sound simple, maybe even a little obvious at first glance, but trust me, their real power comes when you actually start to practice them. Let's break them down.
The first one is the big one, maybe the most important of all. To be impeccable literally means without sin. But Ruiz defines sin as anything you do that goes against yourself. So to be impeccable with your word means using your words consciously. It means you stop using them to judge, to blame, to gossip. Essentially, you stop using your most powerful creative tool against yourself and other people.
Think of your word like actual magic, because that's how powerful it is. You can use it for white magic, speaking truth, spreading love, creating beauty in the world, or you can use it for black magic, spreading emotional poison through things like gossip. Every time you speak, you're making a choice, and that choice is literally creating either a heaven or a hell for yourself and for everyone around you. Okay, number 2, don't take anything personally. This one is a game changer. Whatever anyone says or does to you, it's not actually about you. It's a projection of their dream, their reality, their own mitote. When you take it personally, you're basically saying, yes, I agree with your poison, and you just drink it right up. This agreement makes you immune. It's like a shield that lets their poison bounce right off.
The third agreement is all about not making assumptions. And wow, we do this all the time, right? We assume we know what someone else is thinking. We assume they're going to react a certain way. We assume they just get what we need without us having to say it. And it just leads to so much misunderstanding, drama, and suffering. The antidote is so simple, but it's not always easy. Have the courage to ask questions. Communicate clearly.
And finally, number 4, always do your best. This is the one that really makes the other 3 stick. See, your best is not some impossible standard of perfection. It's going to change from moment to moment. Some days, when you're healthy and rested, your best is incredible. Other days, when you're sick or tired, your best is going to look a lot different. And that's okay. As long as you are always doing your best for that moment, you give the inner judge no room to attack you. There's no space for guilt or regret.
So, what happens when you start living this way, when you really practice these 4 agreements? Well, you start to starve all that fear and self-judgment, and you begin creating a new dream, not society's dream, but your dream. You start building your own personal heaven, right here and right now. What's so amazing is that these agreements work by cutting off the fuel supply to your inner judge and your inner victim. All that energy you were using to uphold thousands of tiny, negative, fear-based agreements, you get all of that energy back. And you can redirect it toward creating a life that you actually want to live, a life full of joy.
So really, when you boil it all down, the book presents us with this one fundamental choice. Because heaven and hell, they aren't places you go after you die. They are states of mind. They exist right here, in this moment. And they are a direct result of the agreements you choose to live by.
And this is maybe the most powerful takeaway of all. We're taught to believe that our happiness depends on what's going on around us, but Ruiz turns that on its head. He says happiness is always, always an inside job. It's a choice. You have the power to choose it, just as you have the power to choose suffering.
That is the promise of the 4 agreements. It's not about a life without problems. It's about a life where you are finally free from your own self-judgment, your own self-rejection, a life where you can be completely, authentically yourself without needing anyone else's approval. It's a life lived in love.
And so, this explainer leaves you with a question that only you can answer. The power to break free from the old dream, the dream of the planet, and to create a brand new one, it's entirely in your hands. So what new dream will you create?